leader. Led from Asher Can and Malavio Spur Tonic. Streamers nicely poised. She's in fifth spot as they come to the turn, followed by Veyron. Toydini's now moving up on the outside with Sincero. And Riva de Largo's the widest runner. Ecuador's the leader, led by 2 on Asher Can. Streamer is coming strongly with Toydini down the outside. Stablemates are running on, and Boban is right down the outskirts of the track. He's putting in a big finish. Streamer went to the lead from Toydini and Boban on the outside. Streamer and Boban, they hit the line together. Oh, they're wide apart, I'm not sure. It's Streamer or Boban from Toydini. Then in behind them, Spur Tonic, followed by Malavio, and then Sizzling and Ecuador, followed by Sacred Falls, and then Scream Machine, Riva de Largo, then Rakilded Interest.
That was Streamer getting beaten, actually. I was on Streamer that day. That was Boban winning the 2013 Epsom Handicap, one of my favourite races of the year, one of my favourite race days of the year. Welcome, everyone, to Pro Group Racing as we preview 2 great days of racing at both Randwick and Flemington, as we do each and every week with Beaver. How are you, buddy?
Very good, thanks, Dougie. How are you, mate?
Good. Another productive day for you on Wednesday.
Oh, it's going flying early.
I think we had nearly the first 7 winners or something like that. 7 of the first 8,
Yeah,
and all at backable prices.
It was very good. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it's happy days for those that had been following our tips when we were a bit uncertain of how the day would go.
Yeah, so I guess the thing is put the work in the midweeks, and even though sometimes it doesn't quite look as clear cut, we're getting the results at the moment, which is good.
I like how you've set yourself up there, mate, trying to look intelligent with your bookshelf behind you.
Yeah, I'm moonlighting on as an left wing nutbag on the ABC, so I had to get a bookshelf put in.
I thought you were looking like you had a doctor's surgery or something, mate.
Yeah, just next to the casting couch.
Very good.
Got to make money where we can. Should we look forward to Saturday?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Good day of racing. Very excited by some of these races, and some pretty open markets, and probably plenty of chances.
Yeah, definitely. I love, as I said, the Epsom and Doncaster are probably 2 of my favourite races of the year, because you get the up and comers down in the weights, and you get the good jocks on the seasoned horses at the top. So it's always a good betting opportunity. And down south, it's a lot of the up and comers again, the 3-year-olds and 2-year-olds taking centre stage there. And the first time really Sydney and Melbourne forms crossed over.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing what you got to say.
Yeah, same. So we'll get into it. Should we kick off in Sydney? As per usual. So the Epsom day, no real rain around on the weekend. Currently a good 4. The rails in the 3 metre mark should play fair enough. Probably by the end of the day looking for your lane 8 and sort of down the outside as it chops out towards the middle. But until I see otherwise, I'm going to anticipate wide draws, probably no disadvantage in big fields. But I think he's going to play pretty much standard Randwick, so that's how I've treated the day. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. I think you'll probably find most horses get a chance, but possibly some of the run-on horses I've kind of leaning to.
Yep, perfect. Let's kick off in the first. This is over the mile, the Randwick Mile, which sees what I'm hoping is us start with a winner. But do you want to kick off?
Yeah, mate. I liked the run of Opacity last start. I thought it was much improved, and I'm hoping that there can be a little bit of pace on here. Discharged will probably take up the lead, and I'm just hoping they can run on, and I'm hoping Opacity gets back to its best and should be ready to run well third up. So I'm going to go for Opacity in the first, mate.
Excellent. I'm going to go with the winner of the lead-up, which is Discharge. I think this is a weaker race than it won last time, and I think it gets a softer lead and goes from Hieronymus to Nash. And just banking on the fact it gets control of this race, and first leader, first of the day, has a kick on the bend and holds on. But obviously Opacity and Bet You're Flying, if it gets a better chance, the 2 dangers for me there.
Yeah, I was just a little bit worried at Discharge getting up in the weights. and the price, I thought
It is now.
just provided that better value.
Yeah, when I did the form last night, it was 330. I noticed it's probably about 270 now. I wouldn't want any shorter.
Yeah.
I think it's. I couldn't take under. I probably couldn't take any shorter than it is now, actually. So, yeah, I think if that swings around, there's probably around $3. I'd definitely be backing it. Opacity, we talked about how it hadn't shown anything. It finally showed something last start. So maybe that's back now. Maybe third up it's time. Yep, we'll get into race 2, the Gym Crack. The 2-year-old stepping out for the first time. Can you have an opinion here without seeing them, or?
No, I've left this one alone. Obviously, the favourite's $1.70 and short, and has looked pretty good in the trials. But yeah, I haven't got too much here to tip outside of that.
No, the favourite obviously tried really well, but in a two-year-old race, all unraced periods, you couldn't possibly take $1.70. And Gay wins this race a lot, so yeah, Gay wins this race a lot, and she's got the second favourite there. But yeah, I'll be watching and probably learning here. And same with the breeders, I guess. Same story here with the girls. Sorry, the boys here in the third race, the Gym Crack. Same thing. Obviously, actually, we get a few. We tend to see Golden Slipper horses win this race, though. Pierro's won it, and I think Vancouver and possibly Farnham won this race last year. So we do get a decent line for the future. The favourite trialled really well too, but again, I'll probably be watching and learning here.
Yeah, the favourite here, Kalashnikov, was pretty impressive at the trials. It cruised away to win fairly comfortably by about half a dozen lengths.
Yeah.
Strawn Wells should sit outside the lead, I would say, and I'm expecting it to win. So at 250 or better, I'll probably back that.
Yep, excellent. I thought that, yeah, that's the obvious. But yep, good work there. We get into some of the more cracking races today, and the Hill Stakes Group 2 for the Group 2 weight for age over the 2,000 metres. The two have gone down to Melbourne, Finch and Very Elegant from Original Acceptors here. Do you want to go first here?
Yeah, I'll go first here, mate. Look, I think it's pretty hard to go past the favourite here, Fierce Impact. First up, it beats a pretty good horse in Russian Camelot, and we saw what Russian Camelot did last week. So no reason if it produces a similar run to last start, should get the run of the race from gate 6. Nash should have it just trailing the speed, and it's some way down the straight. I think it's going to hit the front, and I just don't think there's a lot of good horses that can run past it here. The obvious danger, Colding. Outside of that, this is a pretty weak affair.
Yeah, I wanted to take on Fierce Impact, but with the two scratchings, you can't now. I think it's just obvious.
Yeah.
It's and I would be the saver I would be having is actually just thinking, just because it's going to be on pace and leading, it'll be the one that Fierce Impact has to get past. And I've had a bit of success in the last couple of weeks just following that formula in some of these average races. Excellent. Let's so yeah, we both agree there. Let's get to the flight stakes. The first of the Group 1s, first of 4 Group 1s across the country tomorrow. 3-year-old over the mile for the fillies. And it is the third round of Dame Giselle versus Hungry Heart. Again, Hungry Heart's currently shorter. Again, I disagree with that. And again, I'm going to tip Dame Giselle. Something to add?
I'm going to do exactly the same. I thought Dame Giselle was going as good as it on the line last start. I think it gets the draw to get the run of the race again, just behind the pace. And as long as it gets the split at the right time, Tommy Perry can just drive this thing through and probably again get the start on Hungry Heart and put it to bed.
Well, yeah, Hungry Heart had Dame Giselle's back last start, had the softer run, and Dame Giselle still was soft through the line and had 2 lengths on it. when you watch that
Yeah,
replay. You watch that
okay.
replay.
The
There's
only way I can see it turning the tables here is if it sits on its outside and just holds it in
yeah,
and gets the ping, and Dame Giselle has to try and run it down. But if that doesn't happen, um, then I think Dame Giselle might be just a little bit too classy again.
yep.
I just think Dame Giselle's a better horse.
I think it's clearly the better horse now, and I would be
Yeah.
plumping up again for Montefilia to fill a place there. I think she didn't have any luck, and out might be an Oaks filly, might need 2,000 to be honest, but I think we'll finish in the top three here, Montefilia, and potentially Hugh Bowman might be stapled to it going into an Oaks campaign. I know he's about to go down to Melbourne for the rest of the carnival, I believe.
Right.
Yeah. So, or would you say why or?
No. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Alrighty, race 6, the Premier Stakes, Group 2, sees another Everest lead up, Nature Strip, Classique Legend, both with slots, and I guess Fasika and Libertini are gunning for the last one. I saw Eduardo's got a slot now. I saw Trekking's got a slot now. I think a lot of these owners of slots are on the wrong track, to be honest with you. I'd be looking for one of these 3-year-olds, but instead of, and Santa Ana Lane's in the race, which how's Santa Ana Lane going to win? Like, it's beat up.
Give me a break.
So why wouldn't you go looking for a freshie here? But anyway, we're here to talk about this race. Does a favourite get the job done?
I think so. I think this race should see Nature Strip get its own way in front. It it was taken on by Ball of Muscle last start. Sat on the outside there, and it rarely wins in those circumstances. But this race, I think it jumps straight to the front, coming up the rise, and I expect J-Mac to loosen the reins there, probably get too far away. Classique Legend was outstanding last start.
What about it was slaughtered and still won? Karen got that into that much trouble. I watched the replay last night, as I'm guessing you did. It was enough for me to go. I can't say I'm going to tip it tomorrow, but it's enough for me to go. This is. I've always thought it was a little bit of a myth, but that was its best win.
Yeah, me too. And that's I was mulling over which way I'm going to go here. The only thing that turned me Nature Strip's way was just purely there's not a lot of pace in this race outside of it, and I just think it gets the perfect run. And we know what it does when he gets the perfect run. It's just too fast a horse.
I think you've hit the nail exactly on the head because having watched that replay and even its win when it had a little cameo in the autumn, Classique Legend is obviously a very good horse, and I was sort of in the camp of it for a long time. But yeah, the pace factor is a big one here. When Nature Strip's a front running bully, and it's going to front run and bully this field. Fasika can't keep up with it. Libertini can't, so no one else is going to want to go with it.
No, that's right.
And not a grand final for Classique, so it's not going to want to burn itself out trying to keep up either. Its grand finals, the Everest.
No, that's right.
So I think, I think the Nature Strip wins I guess it'll be almost a barrier trial for it. Good. Let's get on to the feature of the day, the Everest. Not the Everest, that's in a couple of weeks. The Epsom, the Group 1 mile, $1 million. Interesting handicap here because the weights are pretty compressed. If I can pull it up, they were, I think it was from 56.5 just down to 50, which is interesting because usually there's a much bigger spread there. And very concerned about some of the jockey bookings on the ones down in the way. Usually there's a hot one that a G Boss or someone finds it with 50 kilos, and there's not one here this year, which is sort of interesting. Which way were you going?
Mate, I've gone for Probabile.
No, you're a good judge.
I think, look, I've loved its first 2 runs. They've been outstanding. Gate 18's a bit of a worry, but I think it was probably going to go back anyway. I think if it gets
I actually
the
looked at that.
right run and get some cover.
The only Happy Clapper's actually won from an inside gate. Every winner in the last 8 years has been drawn 10 or wider.
Is that right?
Yeah, Happy Clapper was that average field where it just beat him up. I don't know if you remember. I think it was 2 years ago.
Right.
But everything else is
Yep.
Hiraki was 12, Winks was 12. Let me have a look here. I wrote it down somewhere. Golding 12, Hartnell 10, and Secret Admirer was 14 or 15 as well. So I don't think when in those big miles, you almost want to be out in clear air, or at least 3 wide of cover.
Yeah, and we know you need to be able to run a strong Randwick mile to win a race like this. And I just think Probable's possibly that horse that can do that. Really scared of Rock. Thought Rock is going really well at the moment. So I do think it's a massive chance in a race like this. It's probably the main danger to Probable. And I thought a horse like Colette presented pretty good value around the 20-1 mark.
We spend too much time together. Probable was the starting point easily for me. Easy to like. Its form is great this prep. Its mile is no problem. Dry, no problem. Main danger was Rock, and I thought Colette was the knockout. That's scary. And I would have, if it had have started here, I think it's come out. I would have thrown something on just thinking it at 100s as well. It's just that sort of race that Gay can bob up in. Not interested in any of the Waller ones at the top, which have all drawn in. To be honest, drawn inside, which, as I said, is not a tremendous insight, not a tremendous advantage here. I could throw something on Natoya if it's at 100s as well. Apart from that, they're the three. And Wild Planet would be the other one. Just because Hawks are such good grand final trainers, and it was it obviously won the Fun Star race last week, but whether I don't know if that's really form, Fun Star and Rainier, because I'm taking Fun Star on here.
Yeah, me too.
But this could actually be perfect.
The run of the race last start.
Yeah. This could actually be a perfect race for Collett. Just last man standing, last filly standing here, Mare. Collett could, they say you got to be able to run a strong 2,000 to win a Randwick mile, and we know she can. And around 20-1, definitely having a saver on her. And all of those horses we discussed are going in the quaddie. That's we've been spending too much time together, Beaver.
Yeah.
Let's keep going with the G1 Metrop, where we're both going to tip Mugger 2. I'm tipping. 2,400 metre Group 1. Does Mugger 2 just win again?
Well, it looks extremely hard to beat. It's not a tough race. Winning form's good form, and again, 57 kilos, so it's not overly badly weighted, I wouldn't have thought, and drawn well enough to get a good run. It's probably going to be pretty hard to hold out. I just,
Yeah, yep.
If you want to, it's pretty hard to, when you've got horses like Brigham Rocks, who's as old as you, and hasn't shown a lot for a while. I know it won a few starts back, but in a pretty mediocre field. Mugger 2 just looks the up and coming here.
I agree. It's beat up most of this field.
Metrop still gets you a start in the Cup, right?
It used to. Caulfield Cup. Caulfield Cup, I think. It used to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think it's Caulfield Cup. Both this and the Bart Cummings. Bart Cummings Melbourne Cup. One or the other.
Yeah, Bart Cummings is Melbourne.
Yeah. I agree. Mugger 2 is the obvious for all the obvious reasons. It's now ticked the 2,400 metre box as well, or 2,300, but that's not too worried about 24 there. And I think if you're going to save on a couple, it'd only be a couple of odds. Zabrowski obviously starting to come good, and again, I get nervous. They showed last week the Hawks camp. They only target one race a campaign. It's usually the Group 1. And Pass of Glory is maybe the knockout, but the jockey booking doesn't thrill me overly over 2,400, which is Kathy. Cool. Let's wrap up the day here in a bit of an easier affair. The benchmark 8 out of the 1200 for the girls. And how are you going to finish the day? Actually, I'll go first. There's only 2 chances, but the market's singled them out. One of the 2 blue colours will win, and they're the only 2 numbers I'm putting in the quaddie. High-low or a theory?
Which one are you tipping on top? I'm going a theory.
Okay. Yeah, dominant last start. And high-low. Is J-Mac riding his best at the moment?
Don't think so.
No, he's been...
I don't know if he is.
Ever since that sort of...
That just means he's potentially just a big day is around the corner.
Yeah. Probably a theory. I think it's the one that sits on pace and just was dominant last time. High-low's going to have to come from last.
Is there a guide with J-Mac going on high-low and Rachel King on a theory? Is that a guide or is that just...
I think Rachel's ridden it all the way through. Oh, no. Yeah, Rachel rode him her last start. J-Mac rode high-low first up. I think they've probably just stuck.
Okay.
I know Cummings really rates King as well, so I think she's almost their third choice jockey after J-Mac and Hugh, I think, because he uses her a lot. But I think it's just that both of them, she won last start, so she's kept the ride. I didn't read overly into that.
Fair call.
Cool. Let's do my quaddie first, because I nearly forgot on Wednesday. I'm going to kick off with 1 and 2 in the first leg, which is the 2 top-class sprinters. 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 11, 13 in the Epsom. 2, 3, 8, 9, 15 and 18 in the Metrop. Home with the 2, 4 and 6 just the 4 and 6, the 2 horses in the last. $50 gets you bang on 30%, 29.7. How are you going to treat your best and your value?
Yeah, my best bet of the day is in race 4, number 1, Fierce Impact. I've made that my best. And my value is in the Epsom is Probabile.
Good work. My best is going to be race 1 at number 2, Discharged. And my value is Probabile. So we're all in again.
There you go.
Good work. Let's head down to Melbourne for Group 1 Underwood Day. Turnbull? Underwood. I get this confused every week. One of them. The Group 1 2,000 metre race. It is a Turnbull.
Turnbull.
Yeah, so they're sort of really launching their Flemington Carnival now. We see the 2-year-olds stepping out in the first. It feels like real Melbourne spring. And rails out to the 7 metre mark. A little bit of rain around early in the week, but it's dried out. Fair bit of wind. Just keep your eye on the wind, I suppose, to whether that's buffeting horses leading or wide, from what I've been reading. But apart from that, I'm just, again, tipping standard Flemington. It's been pretty good last few weeks, and I think it'll play fine tomorrow.
Really good meeting, really interesting meeting here. I actually like the Flemington meeting better than Sydney for its, the open races and number of chances. I thought Sydney's races, you could narrow it down pretty quickly to 2 or 3 runners in most races, which isn't a bad thing. But it was hard to split them. This looks a lot more open, the Flemington meeting, and took a lot more time assessing the form here and trying to work out my selections.
Well, I have double figure tips in most races. I was and excited about them. Like, I sized up a couple here at double figures as making them my best. So I guess we'll get into it. Because I love it, and don't be afraid to play that way, because big fields Flemington, especially when the horses are wound up, happens every time Cup Week, happens every time straight Melbourne Carnivals. There's always a $100,000 quaddie that pops up. You do get these horses come up at prices, and don't be afraid to just go with your gut, I suppose, in some of these races.
Yeah, 100%.
The Maribyrnong Trial over the 1,000 metres kicks off the day. The impressive General Bow is back. Are you steering clear of this one, or do you like anything?
Yeah, I am steering clear. No, I'll steer clear of that one, mate.
Okay. General Bow is very good on debut. Too much unknowns to really want to stamp it, but it obviously meets 3. It beat up last Wednesday, and it's going to beat him again. But without, at least in Sydney, you can sit and go do some trials and watch your trials. Up down there, you can't get a lead on anything really. So we'll leave that. Into the second, the 1100 metre Poseidon Stakes. The listed race again for the 3-year-olds. No, just set weight and penalties listed race. Do you have an opinion?
Yeah, I do. I like the favourite September run around the $3 mark. I thought it was a super run last start. Hit the line really hard when they rode it pretty quietly. Beat, I think it beat Swats That, who came out and won well after that run. And I certainly think down the Flemington straight suits it. I'm expecting it to be really hard to beat in this type of affair. So I'm quite keen on September run.
Yep. Everything you just said. I like the fact Swats That was dominant last Friday night. Even going back a run before that, it chased home Dame Giselle, and obviously that form standing up. But its win on up the straight, it did all the work itself. It took off early, made its own run, and was still dominant. And hard not to like it. And I'm completely with you. It'll actually be one of my best of the day.
Yeah, me too.
Race 3 is the Paris Lane listed for the 4-year-olds and up. This was a much harder race. Could you find one?
Yeah, I could. I thought, it doesn't have the greatest of form. I thought Fashino looked really hard to beat at the $5 mark. I thought it appeared to me not to have the best of luck last start. I thought its run, considering, was pretty good, and I just think this is a pretty average field. Something's got to win, and I think it looks like it had plenty in the tank last start, and with some luck here, I think it can be hard to beat.
Yeah, nice. When I started trying to watch the trials of the two at the top there to find a reason to back them, I just thought this race was too hard for me, so I left it alone. Galway was flying last prep and seems to be going okay, but like I said, they're not horses I don't want to be involved with. Romance bobs up when I don't want it to, which is probably this week. Galaxy Raider, if I don't back it, will win. So I'm just going to leave this one alone. And head to the Group 2 Gilgai Race 4. Again, up the straight over the 1,200 metres. Interesting little race as well. Tafani's in the Everest, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. And Santarana. So there's another clash between the two. I couldn't work out the market difference between Tafani and Zatori. Which way were you splitting them?
I'm going Tafani.
Just thinking, ready to go now?
I thought it's... I think it's ready to go. I thought its first up run was pretty good. I was watching the footage, and it ran the fastest 400 to 200 section of the day.
Yeah.
So it may have just peaked on its run.
I think so. It just
had to do a bit of...
it had to do a lot of that work itself. It didn't find any cover. Zatori had just the cold sit and the duck and weave.
Yeah.
That said, I thought Zatori should be closer, but I am with Tafani essentially. I just thought it should have been probably... I think the market actually should be the other way around, sort of Tafani, Zatori at 460, and then Santarana longer, because Santarana's the weakness in the market here. It's not a first-up horse, and it's now going on, a year and a half without a win?
Yeah, it hasn't won for a long time.
Yeah, so...
You'd certainly want to see something before you're backing it.
Yeah, so, Tafani has been good to us, and I think tomorrow's her day there. The fifth of the day is the...
I'm looking forward to the return of 50 Stars. I'm keen to see how it returns. I think it might have a pretty decent preparation. Obviously, this is way too short, but I'll be watching that with note.
Where would it go? The Rupert Clark, 1,400 metres second up, or further?
I'd say they'd be pushing it out to a mile.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe with the, what's the Flemington mile? I can't think of its name. The one after it, yeah. Flemington second up or third up over a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, nice horse. I actually made a point of having a look at it, but I think they'll be too sharp for here, or for him here.
Yeah, 100%.
Smorgasbord in the Edward Manifold, the mile Group 2 for the fillies. I think probably the A-grade fillies up in Sydney in Dame Giselle, but this is an interesting race. I'm going to tip one here that should have won last start, Queen of Rocks. $12. It was a tragedy beaten at Caulfield 2 weeks back. Was just trucking into the race. If it gets through here, it starts half the price. And I think it gets a similar run. Still needs a bit of luck here from gate 3. But I just think that's over the odds in a race where the favourite, which albeit was a nice win, has gate 1 inside it and coming off midweek form. So just specking that. Did you have an opinion here?
I didn't have a huge opinion here. I thought a horse like Chica Werther at $14 presented some decent value, but look, there was nothing here that really stood out to me.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, this is one here. I could play Divine Diosa. I could play Queen of Rocks. I would want longer for the two favourites. Cool. Quaddy kicks off with the Bart Cummings, as we just said earlier, ticket of the Melbourne Cup, Group 3, 2,500 metres. There will be some wound-up horses here. A wide field. The market's gotten rid of a couple here that it's been quite keen on, but Canane's been booted out the door. Passan's been booted out the door. Young Rascal's out the door. So they've had enough of all those horses. Who have you settled on?
Passan.
Yeah.
I just like Passan here. I thought I didn't lose me given its run last start. The other horse just had the sitting shot on it and proved a bit too strong. I'm expecting Passan to get a really good run again in this race, just on the leader's back from the one gate, hoping that it can just the heads open up around the 300 and it can ping to the front and they find a bit too nippy to run down.
Hasn't Shabao shown itself up now? Like, why is it shorter than the other two? It probably should have been written. It hasn't been written aggressively. But I would back Passan before I'd back Shabao. I would back Lord Belvedere, who is probably on top here, because it was first up 2,500 and pretty much beat the other two on merit, and it's only going to be better here.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and I certainly thought the same thing. It did appear to win on merit, but I just think that it got the sit on Passan last start. I'm hoping Passan just gets a bit more sneaky in behind the lead there and just gets a little bit cushier run than last start.
Yeah, and my girlfriend's here.
Which one's that?
In Good Health. She's 20s
health.
again. She was awesome last start. She sat 5 wide round the bend, had to push forward, then up. You can't sit bend at Caulfield. Then had to push forward, led at a good pace, and only got run over in the last 100 by order of the Garter. I thought she was so brave. I would rather have drawn inside for once because she's probably going to do the same thing here. But she is a sneaky chance of running a place here at $8 a place, and if she's good enough, may even lead throughout. But she's an underrated horse here, I think. But
yeah, you'll get much better than
I think
20s
so.
on the day. That's for sure.
I'll be getting the net out and scooping up much better than that on the exchange. I suspect.
Yeah, you'll be getting 50s plus.
Yeah, happy with that. Happy to play it. But Lord Belvedere and Passan I've gravitated that form line this spring, and I just think Belvedere with the improvement hard to beat. Let's get into the Turnbull, the Group 1 set weights and penalties. You going with your boyfriend?
I am.
Yeah, talk us through it. He was all right last start.
surprise baby for me.
Yeah.
Look, I thought it was a pretty good run. The other horse was pretty lucky to get the split. I was filthy, but hence why I'm sticking again here. I think Surprise Baby is it's just building beautifully into its work. It's been placed really, really nicely here, and I think it looks definitely the horse to beat.
If they're serious about Melbourne Cup, it has to win this, doesn't it?
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah.
You've got Very Elegant, who a bit disappointing last start, comes back to Melbourne, but it's a good track. And
if it rains very again tomorrow, I think it's just a good wet tracker. I just think it's the new whatever it is, the new
Master of Wine
sacred
needs to
choice.
show a bit more before you get too carried away. Superstorm, no thanks.
You know who I like?
Finch is sneaky.
Yeah, Finch. Finch will lead this. I like Mellum. It was good first up, and it goes from Kathy O'Hara to Ben Mellum. And there's not much pace here, and I think it'll be the one around the clock tower. Someone's gonna have to run past.
Yeah, and I'm certainly keen to see King of Leogrance. How it travels first up. So I certainly think it's got some ability as well.
Yep. I'm going to tip. I'm just going to tip Finch. I'll make my tip Finch. Any rain around, Very Elegant and Moral, but otherwise Finch from Surprise Baby, and the rest don't. The rest are now. We've seen enough of them for 2 and 3 years now. Like we don't need to see anymore. We know what we're getting.
Yeah, 100%.
Race 8, the Blazers Stakes, another Group 2 race for the mares. Rubisaki, does it bounce back, or does Perfect Jewel on the backup get the job done this time?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about Rubisaki.
Disappointing, wasn't it?
It was very disappointing, and maybe last prep. Look, it was winning races last prep, but I'm not so sure about the horses it was beating.
Benchmark.
And now down to Melbourne.
Yeah, Benchmark Sydney form. Yeah. Who was the best horse that beat Rainier? Some of those sort of horses,
Yeah, so I'm not convinced about what it beats. Again, it's drawn wide. First up was too bad to be true. I'm going for Madame Rouge.
Okay. Yep.
So I thought last start was pretty good. She hasn't drawn that well last few starts. Got back and has been hitting the line pretty hard. If you just check out the runs, it's she's been grabbing the bit really late in her races and hitting the line hard. I think it'll be better suited here. Gets a better draw this time. Gets the right field, and I think certainly presents good value at around the $6 mark. I don't think the market's missed her purely on that. If you go back and check those runs,
that's good intel because I would have thought, you just look at it on face value, you think she's double figures, so I think you're on the right track. I'm going to go with
last run, if I remember correctly, it came home in the last 200 was the fastest of the day.
Yes. That was Chasing Behemoth?
Caulfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chasing Behemoth. So finished less than 2 lengths behind Behemoth, drew gate 16, carried 56 kilos, and ran home in the fastest last 200 of the day, $21. So there's no Behemoths in this race, that's for sure.
No. Now I'm scared of her. I was going to tip the quick backup horse Perfect Jewel. It brained the field last Friday. All bar Mystic Journey decided to return to her best form just to upset my Friday night. But still, ran time before that was came through the Maccabi Diva behind Fierce Impact. The line to draw then before that was when it towed up Rubisaki. So I can't see Rubisaki turning tables. and I think gets drawn here for the right run, just swoop down the middle again. I think Pike's much more comfortable swooping down the middle than he is trying to duck and weave or lead. So I think the draw's perfect, and I think on the backup, I'm with her. A little bit scared now you've talked about Madame Rouge. And I was happy to go right around Rubisaki and right around Savatiano.
Yes,
So, yeah, cool. All right, let's wrap up the day with, what have we got here? The 1,800 metres for the 3-year-olds staying race leading up to the Derby. Did you have a thought?
Yeah, I was with the favourite here.
It was a nice win, wasn't it?
At $4.50.
Yeah, nice win on debut.
Yes, lovely win. Young Werther. Really, really good win at Geelong, was it?
Yes, yeah. If it wasn't John, it
Yeah.
was Dongo.
Really, really liked it. Looked to be it was as green as grass, but still finished off extremely well. Hit the line hard. I think Young Werther looks like a real good horse on the way up. Doesn't need an overly strong field here. I'll be making Young Werther my best bet of the day.
Ooh. There's one here at 20s I'm backing. Back to Man. It was a tragedy in the lead up to this at Flemington. It's run 14 to 16 and it nearly should have won. It was absolutely trucking into the bend at Flemington. Just got chopped right out, never got off the rails, ended up just being pulled up and not given a crack at him. And I liked its win before that at Sale. And I like Gate 14 now, blending around probably on the back of someone like Young Werther, actually. And just at 20s, I'll be saving on it, but my notes did say I loved the win of Young Werther first up. So they're the two for me in the last. Interesting to see how someone like Alcyone goes, Wise Counsel onto the Derby. But, yeah, we'll finish the day on that note. You got a quaddie for us?
I do have a quaddie, mate. And let me just get my numbers up here. I've got first leg 4, 5, 12, and 15.
Yep.
Second leg 3, 6, 9, and 12.
Yep.
Third leg 1, 5, 6, and 7. And finishing the day in the last with 1, 3, 12, and 14.
Very good. How many combos is that? 4 by 4 by 4 by 4.
4, 16, 64, 100, 256.
Perfect.
So we're looking around 20%.
Yep. A nice split there, and that's a good Flemington fill up. Your best, you mentioned it just then, your best in value?
Yeah, my best is comes up in the last, which is Young Werther. And my value bet of the day is none other than Surprise Baby.
Oh, very good. I'm going to make my best. Perfect jewel actually in the fillies race. I'm going to make my value Queen of Rocks in race 2, but I'm also quite keen to have something on Back the Man, and I'm also quite keen to have something on In Good Health and Lord Belvedere in the Bart Cummings. I could have easily made any of those my value, but yeah, we'll throw that up there. Have you gone north for us, or you've had enough on your plate with all this?
No, I've gone north.
Okay, what have you got? Actually, I'll go south. I'll go which ways? I'll go south first. South Australia, Top and Tail, the favourites in the first and the last. Aqueduct and where are we? Aqueduct in the first and Meanie in the last will both be winning. Who have you got up in Queensland?
I've got a bit of value. Is my first one. It's race 3, number 2. I Am Swerving, about $6 or $7. Race 5, number 2, Super Air. And race 7, number 11, Lady Brahmos.
Good work. What's that get us? If you put it in an all-up, usually got an all-up for us. That's all right.
Mate, you'll be getting 100 to 1, I reckon.
Perfect. Anything else
Nice enough too.
Anything else you want to finish on, mate?
No, mate. Just really keen for some good racing on Saturday. I think there's some really nice races. Plenty of value around, as you said. Most of our tips are sitting there at 10, sixes, $5, $5.
Yeah.
So plenty of value. You won't have to back too many winners to have a nice, profitable day.
Yeah. Love these sort of days. Excited to be playing. And I guess I'll catch up with you on the weekend, mate.
Look forward to it.
Good work. Good luck, punters, and we'll speak to you next week.